mics. We're just having a conversation like we're at lunch talking.
I like that. We're at lunch.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're at lunch. We're
So I
talking.
have the pleasure of speaking with Cecelia Waterman-Santiago, the owner of Aveli Wellness and House of Rising Sun. Cecelia makes aromatherapy products, is also a meditation guide, Reiki master, spiritual counselor, and yoga teacher. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about yourself and your work today. And I wonder, as we get started, if you wouldn't mind sharing more about you. What makes you you?
I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and from a very young age, I had an affinity to spirituality as well as the Bible. I was that kid that read the Bible, and I had these cute little animated Bible books that my godfather had bought me, and I would engross myself in these books and read on the weekends. And so I think that my spirituality and my connection with the divine began at a very early age. And so what makes me me is that I'm also the type of person that follows where the divine, I believe the divine leads me, but also what feels right to me and for me. I've always been service oriented, and I've always felt the desire to help. And so I'm here. I spent many years in finance. I worked on Wall Street. I worked for an investment advisory firm. And as soon as I got the opportunity to, and I felt like I was comfortable enough, I decided to leave that and pursue what I really loved. And that is making these wellness products for others, and then launching House of Rising Sun, which was organized and created to be a residential group home for girls who have been sex trafficked. But we're in the process of changing that into a wellness center. And we think that in that way, we can serve a number of people. And so what makes me me is that I tend to follow where I am spiritually led. And so I guess that's the quick and dirty on it.
So I'm just wondering if you could talk more about your products that you offer and how we could access them.
Okay, so I began making these products many years ago, and I would make them for family members and friends who are having sort of issues. I started studying essential oils years ago. When I lived in Chestnut Ridge, New York, there was an apothecary around the corner, and they sold holistic treatments, so wellness treatments. And I would go there and talk to some of the doctors there about different oils and essential aromatherapy products and things that would help to heal you holistically. And I would always I'd rather go to them than the doctor. And I did that for many years, and I learned a lot from them. And then I did a lot of online classes, and I did some research on my own. But over the years, I was offering these products to people, and I wasn't charging for them. And then a friend or a coworker and a friend got sick, and she was in the hospital, and I was going to visit her, and she asked me to bring her some of my lemongrass spray. And that's sort of the signature blend. That's the one that I was creating a lot of, and a lot of people requested that blend. Now, the lemongrass blend is lemongrass, frankincense, clary sage, and bergamot. So those are powerful antimicrobials. And antimicrobials are products that, and I should say elements that, or essential oils that, because they come in different forms, that kill viruses, they kill toxins, they kill bacteria, they kill mold and mildew, things like that. So I started with that because to me, they were all around healing essential oils. Now, clary sage is a wonderful hormone balancer. So a lot of people going through during the menstruation cycle, they use that. During menopause, they use that. It helps to balance, but men can use it also to balance the hormones. People use it for night sweats, sweating profusely at night. It helps to calm. It also helps to clear toxic energy. frankincense has been around for ages, and most essential oils have been. And they used them back in biblical time, and they used them back in ancient Egypt, ancient Rome. And in the Bible, they talk about the wise men bringing frankincense and myrrh. I also do some work with myrrh. But frankincense is a wonderful, it's considered a protectant. It can, because it's an antimicrobial and it kills and eliminates bacteria, viruses, and that sort, but it also clears out negative energy. So it's used in the church. When you see the priest going by and he's waving the ashes and he's using frankincense and myrrh. So I love using that as well. And then I use the bergamot. Bergamot is a wonderful essential oil from the bergamot plant that helps to heal the skin and the hair. So it's very beneficial for the skin and the hair. So those three I put in pretty much all of my products. And then I add the dominant fragrance, which is the lemongrass. And lemongrass is a natural antidepressant. So it lifts the mood. And I call that product Clear and Uplift. So my girlfriend and coworker who was in the hospital asked me to bring some products with me. And I did, as a gift to her. And I brought the spray and I brought the lotion. And as she started to spray it in her room, the nurses came in and they said, "What is that? Oh my God, it smells so good." And so she told them, and then they asked me to bring some up. So the next day I returned and I brought more. And then after that, I brought more. I didn't know what to charge because I wasn't selling it at the time. So I basically figured out what I was paying for it and I charged them that. And I figured, they were doing good work. They're working in the hospital. So yeah, why not? But it was after that I said I could launch a business. And so I started researching it. But it wasn't until, and because this happened about 5 years ago, I would say, but it wasn't until right before the pandemic that I launched Aveli Wellness and House of Rising Sun, because I left my old firm and started this up. And of course, starting it right in the pandemic doesn't benefit us as well. But surprisingly so, I've been going out and I've been doing these pop-up events, and lately I've been doing these wonderful church events, and it's amazing. And they've been very receptive to the oils. And there has been a movement toward holistic healing and holistic treatments, and people are embracing it. So people can go on my website, which is www.aveliwellness.com. And Aveli is spelled Aveli, and then wellness, Wellness. And I have various products online. So there's the Clear and Uplift, which helps to elevate your mood and to combat any sort of depression and feeling low, any of that sort of things, because the lemongrass does do that. It really helps. And when I'm out at these events, I have my diffuser going with the lemongrass in it, and people smell it, they come by. It's a great talking point and a great selling point because people come by, they love it, and they buy it. So I also have what you mentioned, the chakra balancing oils and sprays. And those oils, I did a lot of research on that. There are certain oils that help to balance and open certain chakras. We have 7 main chakra centers in our body. They're energy vortexes that spin. And when they are open and spinning freely, we are balanced. But when they are not, when they are clogged, when they're blocked, then we start to have problems in the various chakras. So the root chakra is located at the base of the spine. And the root chakra balances feeling well, feeling protected, feeling secure, feeling balanced and grounded. The sacral chakra, and that resonates with the color red. So you'll find that my labels are red. So it's the color red, it spins. The female chakras spin in a different direction than the male chakras. So, but that's a whole other different lesson, which we won't go into right now. But if you go on my website, you can find a lot of information about the chakras. The sacral chakra is the chakra that governs creativity and creating life and creating the life that you'd like to live. So, and that resonates with the color orange. And each of these oils have crystals in them as well, because there are crystals that resonate with the various chakras. So with the third chakra, that's located right at the diaphragm, that's your solar plexus, and that's your seat of power, and that's the yellow color. And so you visualize that spinning with the yellow color. And when that chakra is balanced and working well, we're in our power, and we're not overly aggressive, we're not timid, but we're balanced, and we're able to live our truth and live in a way that serves us. So then we move from the root chakra, located at the base of the spine, and the sacral chakra, located right below the navel, the solar plexus right above the navel, to the heart chakra right between the breasts. The heart chakra is located in the heart. And when it is open and when it is balanced, we are open to love, and we're able to give love. And many of us have experienced death at this time. It's been a time of great sadness, and a lot of people have been requesting the heart chakra oil, and it does help. I have a friend, we were at an event together, and she was having an anxiety attack, and she asked me if I had anything for her. And I said, I have the heart chakra, I think that would help you. And she put a little bit there, and she called me on her phone, and because she was on the other side of the field, and she said, I want to tell you, it really worked. It helps to not just calm the heart, it balances the heart. So if you're feeling anxious, too wound up, it helps to calm. If you feel like you need to be lifted a bit, then it'll do that as well. So it works well with the heart chakra. And it has rose quartz in it. And rose quartz helps us to open ourselves to love. Then we go to the throat chakra, and that's the chakra you were talking about, that you put on right before you're talking, or an engagement. And the throat chakra, when it is open and balanced, it allows us to speak our truth. It allows us to speak up and communicate verbally. And there are many, even though we don't think about it as much, but there are many people who come to me and they say that they have a problem speaking their truth. And so I have them try that. And then it's interesting because a woman was there with her daughter. Her daughter was about, I'd say maybe 15, 16. And she says to her, you need this oil. And the daughter was like, why? And she says, well, you need this one and this one. She was talking about the throat chakra, and she was talking about the solar plexus. She said, because you bully people. And I asked her, I said, are you bullying people? And she said, well, not really. And then her mother said she was, and they went back and forth. And I said, so if you are bullying people, right? So hurt people, then you want to ask yourself what you're afraid of. Because all anger is based in fear. There's always an underlying fear, a fear that someone's going to take something from us, someone's going to do something to us that makes us react in anger. And so she looked at me and she goes, okay, like that. It was so cute. And so she bought the oils for her daughter, and then she bought a whole line for herself. She said, to balance all of her chakras. And surprisingly, I didn't think many people would be doing that, but a lot of people do buy the whole line to balance all of the chakras. And so then we move from the throat chakra to the third eye chakra, which is located right here, right between the brows. That's our inner wisdom. So when it is balanced and open, we are aligned with our inner wisdom. And our gut instinct, the thing that tells us something feels right or doesn't feel right. So we all have it. We're gifted with it when we're born. So, but sometimes it gets blocked. And so the oils help to open, to release, to balance the chakras. And then from there, we go to the crown chakra, and that's our connection to divinity. The divine is connecting with us all the time. The universe is connecting. We get signs all the time. We just have to pay attention. So, and those are the 7 chakras, the quick and dirty.
Then I would like to ask you to talk more about how you then use your products and your services with your work with clients. If I was a client coming to you today, how would we be working together?
Right. So when I work with Reiki clients, and Reiki is universal life force energy. So it's a non-denominational type of healing modality. So it is is Japanese based. It was originated by a Mikao Osui in Japan. He was born in 1829, I believe. So in the 1900s, he created this form of healing. And he wanted it to be something that was receptive to all people. So it's non-denominational. However, when I do Reiki energy healing, and it's putting hands on or above the body and sending energy, you can also do it, you can send the energy distance. But when people come to me, they lay on my table and I put my hands on them, and also use the oils. So I generally don't do the crown unless someone asks me to, because I don't want to oil up someone's hair unless they want me to. But I will put it on my hands and then put it over their head. And I'll use the third eye. I'll put the third eye oil there, and I'll put the throat oil here. And then the heart chakra, I put on the wrists for them. Okay. And then I use the grounding, the root chakra, I put on the base of the feet. So when I'm giving energy because I put my hands on the bottom or the top of a person's foot, then I have those oils on either on my hand or directly on them. And so I use them, I integrate them when I'm doing my Reiki practice. And I also use crystals. So I use amethyst generally for the crown. I put that near the crown. And then I use lapis lazuli for the third eye. And then I use chalcedony for the throat chakra. And then I use rose quartz or green aventurine for the heart area. And then I use citrine. Citrine is this yellow stone. Citrine is the stone of joy, of prosperity. They call it the merchant stone. So it's supposed to bring in prosperity and abundance. And then for the sacral chakra, I use sometimes tiger's eye, if that's available. Usually the orange stones are good. For the root, red jasper, I have red jasper. And you can use smoky quartz, black tourmaline, the dark colors for grounding and balancing. Coral is also great for the sacral chakra. So something that's the orange colors. So, but yes, so that's how I use those products in my practice when I'm working with people. I also use the solfeggio frequencies, and I don't know if you know about them, but solfeggio frequencies are frequencies that resonate with the various chakras. So they balance, but they also work to clear the chakras, but also to uplift and raise your energetic vibrational frequency. So there are certain things that vibrate. Well, everything vibrates. Everything is energy. So everything vibrates at a certain level, but some things vibrate higher than others. So we want to be vibrating in the heart area and up. So, or the solar plexus and up. But I like to start in the heart area, the love, the throat, the third eye, and then connection to divinity. So the solfeggio frequencies help us to raise our vibration and helps to jumpstart the healing process along with the Reiki energy. So it works well in tangent with the Reiki energy. I suggest people listen to it when they're meditating. I do. Or sometimes I have it just playing. I have it playing before a client comes. It clears the energy in the room. And then I just have it as background if I'm working. So it's raising the vibration, They've done, I don't remember the gentleman's name. He's also Japanese, and he's done a lot of research on water and sound, and shows that certain vibrations will cause discord in water, and the higher vibrations will calm the water and bring them together. It's just absolutely beautiful. If I can find it, I'll send it to you and you can share it. But it's lovely what water does when it gets into this beautiful, loving, healing vibration. And what it looks like when it's not, when it's in the lower vibrations, when there's discord, when there's anger, when there's shouting. He's done all these different scientific experiments, and our bodies are made up, and it varies. They say from 75% to like 85% water, right? So that affects us as well. So harsh things affect us. Shouting affects us negatively. Like people say, words are important. So I think it's interesting that you can say a certain word in a certain tone, and it can be healing, but used in another way, it can be destructive and discordant. So it's vibration, and also the words that we're familiar with that resonate with us in a certain way, and maybe triggers certain emotional responses, that we've had in the past. So if we hear certain words, or it's interesting how some people will hear a certain name and they won't like that name because it reminds them of a bad experience. So, but yeah, so I use many factors when I'm doing my sessions. I also use sound healing. Well, the solfeggio frequency is part of the sound healing aspect, but I use the crystal humming bowl. And generally I use the F, and F resonates with the heart. So it's the sound of F, and the frequency resonates and vibrates at that level. So generally, without fail, people will say that it's louder after the session is over, because I use it before to clear the room, to clear the energy in the room, and then afterwards to continue to clear the energy after the session. And people will say, oh my God, it was so loud afterwards, and that's because we're open at that point and we're receptive. And yeah, we come in, you've got everything that was going on before the session. And so there are blockages there. You're thinking about what happened before, but when we go through the session, we clear out all of that. And so you're open to the healing. Yeah.
A session with you sounds really powerful. I'm thinking about the different approaches that you utilize in the same space at the same time. Crystals, energy, spirituality, sound, and with
oils.
Oils, exactly right. It sounds like such a multifaceted approach. And I imagine your clients leave the space like that with your time with you, feeling probably very energized, feeling on top of the world, with all these blockages being removed, and feeling better about their lives. And then,
in fact, I was going to say, I have a couple of friends. Well, they generally, clients have various experiences. People actually have told me that they've seen people who have passed over, loved ones who have passed away. And then I've had, especially, I love working with the young people, like people who are in their late teens and their early 20s. And they're telling me, oh, I saw my grandmother, and tears are streaming down their face. And then they're hugging me. They're so happy. And they tell me what the person said. And I think it's so beautiful because they're open to the divine. Energy never dies. So we like to think that even though our loved ones may be passed on, they're not, their energy remains. Their energy is with us. So I love that aspect of it. And I have a girlfriend who tells me it feels like a trip. Every time she comes, she said she has like an out-of-body experience. And she said it's so addictive. She loves coming because it takes her away. And she's going through a very, very tough time right now. So she comes almost weekly. And she said she has like an out-of-body experience each time. So
it sounds as though it's not just about feeling better, but also it's an opportunity for a transformative experience, connecting with something bigger than ourselves, our ancestors.
Yes, the divine.
The divine.
Divine. So yes, and that's the other aspect that I wanted to mention. That's another part of the session. I call in the angels. And even though Reiki is not a religious experience, I ask if you mind if I call in your ancestors, your spirit guides, Mother, Father, God, the angels, and I call in Archangel Raphael, who is the great healer, and Michael, who's the protector, and Gabriel, who's divine messages. And I call out their name, each one. And I have people who say that they feel like they can't move, they're here. Well, I had a percussionist client. It was amazing. He's a drummer, and I believe he was from the Dominican Republic or Cuba, one of the Spanish-speaking islands, and he played. And he said that when I was doing the session with him, he felt hands along his body. That's what he said. And he said it was amazing, like that. And I love the fact that people are not afraid, because I tell people, and I call in like Michael and the divine to guard us, to protect us on this journey. So you are totally protected in a cocoon of love. And I like to believe that those are the hands of the divine, the hands of your loved ones who have passed on, who are with you. You know, I invite all of them to come in and be with you. And so people have various experiences.
It's tremendous.
Yeah.
I'd also like to hear more about the House of Rising Sun. What led you to create this really phenomenal opportunity for people to access help and get support?
When I was doing my yoga teacher training, I had to do Siva, and that is doing like selfless work. So you're donating your time. And I did some work with girls who had been sex trafficked. And I did meditation with them. Some of them I gave Reiki to, and I would just put my hands over them. And then some of them, you know, I touched, but you always had to ask permission, because these girls had been traumatized. So some were angry, but I have to say 90% of them loved and looked forward to me coming and teaching them yoga. So I taught yoga to these girls. And then a girlfriend of mine who is a tax attorney by trade, I was talking to her about it, and she goes, oh my God, she said, I always wanted to open up something like a group home for girls. And she had her own experience with that, not personally, it didn't happen to her, but she knew of it. And I believe her mom had done some work with these girls. And so she said, I would love to work with you. And so then she and I and my daughter, we created House of Rising Sun. Now, when the pandemic hit and we were getting rolling, and we were making some headway and things were starting to happen, the pandemic hit. And then my girlfriend, tax attorney, had to leave. She had to leave the organization for personal reasons. And so then it was my daughter and I, and my daughter also has another job. And in her job, she actually runs a group home, a group residence for girls. And so then it got really busy. It got really crazy. We're still in a time where people don't know what's going to happen next. And all of these new rules are being implemented. So everybody's working, creating new things. My daughter's in charge of so many different departments. So she didn't have much time. And then I'm also over here building my other aromatherapy business and doing that. So I said, we have to wait and figure out how we're going to do this. And so we can do it right. And so we took a breather in the pandemic to figure out what we're going to do. And then we decided we're going to do a wellness center. And so we think that it would serve more people that way. So, and it would combine what the other things that we're trying to do as well. So, yeah.
And there is a website that people can visit.
Absolutely. So, and you can make donations there, and we will be changing the language on there, but you can still get some information about what we're trying to do in the organization. And, you know, it is a nonprofit. So whatever you donate, you can deduct in your taxes. And it's www.houseofrisingsun.org. Houseofrisingsun.org.
Thank you. And then also, I'd like to ask you if there are any strategies that you might share with us for people to administer energy healing to themselves and for themselves.
Right. So, you can be a Reiki practitioner, right? And that means you've been attuned. So there are certain symbols that you're attuned with that helps you to share this energy. But we are energetic beings and we can share energy. We can. We know this because someone can come in with a terrible energy and we feel it immediately, right? So someone can come in and light up the room. You hear about the people who walk in and all of a sudden everybody feels better. We can share our energy. So if you're not feeling well, lay down. I like to lay down. You can sit also, but close your eyes. Breathe deeply in and out through the nose. As you inhale, expand the belly. As you exhale, contract the belly and focus on the breath. Take your hands and place it on whatever area it is that is bothering you or has an issue. So if you feel like you're having trouble breathing, place it here, place it in this area. Breathe in and picture the universal healing energy coming through your crown chakra, down through your hands and to the body part. Focus it that way and breathe and visualize a white light coming through your hands and enveloping that area. And just do it often. Meditation, that's a form of meditation as well. Meditation and energy work is very healing. It is how our body rejuvenates, how our cells rejuvenate, our energy recuperates. So take the time, spend it in meditation, spend it in prayer, walk in nature, walk in the park, look at the animals. So I like to look at the swans, the ducks and geese and all of that. So walk around in nature, breathe it in. That is, I like to think of the universe's way of healing us, but it's also a moving meditation. Some people run, and I used to run. I used to be an avid runner. And when I would run like 12 or 13 miles, I'd find that at some point during that run, I didn't feel my legs moving. I was just moving. I was almost gliding. It's like an out of body experience. That's your moving meditation. When you're doing yoga, if you're doing a flow, if you're doing to the music, that's your moving meditation. So you can sit and just breathe, and you can use the word Om to focus your attention, or you can use the solfeggio frequencies, but sit quietly, go inside, focus on the breath. That's your meditation, getting quiet and directing your focus where you want it to be, not on the trauma, the toxic, the craziness that happened before, but focus your energy and your mind and your breath where you want it to be. And I suggest people do that every day. I suggest you do it in the morning and in the evening. If you can't, do what you can. Do it in the morning or do it at night. Prayer is a form of meditation. So get quiet, talk to God, talk to whoever you believe in. If you believe in yourself, talk to yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. So take some time, go within. I just wrote something today and posted it. I think that because the media, social media and otherwise, and the TV, right now we're being blasted with so much fear and toxicity. People are watching this round the clock. Well, there are variants. I just heard of this variant and that they have the Delta, and after that, it's going down the Greek alphabet. So people are really worried and they're afraid. And then people are afraid that their rights are being taken away. They're forcing us to do this. I'm being made to get a shot that I don't want to get, and all of this. So disconnect to connect. Take a moment each day to turn off all of that and listen to some music that lifts your spirit. Maybe it's Aretha Franklin. I don't know, maybe it's the Grateful Dead, whatever works for you, do that so that you find some joy, a few moments each day. Because if you don't, your vibration will begin to lower and lower and lower. And as our energetic vibrational frequency lowers, we are receptive to illness and dis-ease.
Cecelia, what an honor to spend some time with you and to hear about you, your work, and the impact that you're having on your clients, and also House of Rising Sun and what is to come along the way here. And before we close, is there anything else that you want to share with the people that might be watching this video series?
Well, there's some wonderful things out there I'd like to share that, and I don't remember exactly, you can find it on YouTube. I don't remember which network it's on, but there's a show, a movie called Heal, Heal. It's like an hour and a half, I believe, maybe 2 hours, but invest some time in things like that to learn about ways of healing yourself. Because as you'll notice in a pandemic and with viruses and different diseases, they're always among us. They're always here. But there are those who don't get sick. So we can help ourselves. And they say that those that are most vulnerable are those that have underlying illnesses. So it's very important to take care of yourself. That's what I would leave you with. Self-care is the best care. So take care of yourself, and you'll find that none of that will affect you.
Thank you again. It's been such a pleasure.